Welcome everyone to a casted game for Age of Empires 4, and today spawning in the southwest corner of the map playing in blue, we've got beastyqt playing as the French, and his opponent in the northeast playing in red. We've got Kiljardi playing as the Order of the Dragon. Welcome everyone to Gorge. I hope you guys are having a great morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Interesting opening, by the way. 2 farms being placed by the Order of the Dragon allows the scout to get out and about and doesn't have to come back to, drop off sheep really because of that. It's actually quite important because it means that the French now, they are going to be challenged quite heavily for sheep. Having said that, Beasty opting for a double scout play. Okay, interesting. Not seen this for a long time, especially not with the French. Really interesting opening. He wants to mop up as many sheep as possible. And the reason why this is quite significantly important is because the Order of the Dragon are a civilization that sometimes gets a bit slow to get going, but once they do, it's pretty strong, of course. And so gathering sheep is important, right? You want to get as much sheep as possible so that the Order of the Dragon doesn't have to venture out on the pocket economies, doesn't have to venture out in the deer camp, which is going to be a struggle for them because, I mean, ultimately the French, they get very strong cavalry units in the feudal age. They get a lot of map presence, and so it looks like Beasty, opting for a second scout, whilst it will delay the tech up timing a little bit into the feudal age, what he's trying to do is going to try and starve Kiljardi out of food. It's an interesting approach. I mean, to be fair, the French need a lot of food themselves anyway, so it's certainly helpful. But we are starting to see that second scout meta hop back into some civilizations. We've seen it with the HRE a little bit. Obviously with the HRE, it's more about them getting enough food underneath the town centre than it is for them denying their opponents. But it feels like for the French, it's a bit of both, right? Because the French aren't super reliant on sheep. They can get, pocket economies, deer camp, because they tend to have units on the field. But I think this is as much as it is about getting food for himself as it is denying the Order of the Dragon. What's interesting though is the Order of the Dragon do typically, he actually invested in farms early. Sometimes we do see villagers go out to deer camp early, but going up against the French, yeah, you'll be able to get the deer camp in the Dark Age, but in the feudal age it'd be tricky for you. So the farms definitely make a lot of sense. Curious that also we didn't see an early barracks play. Sometimes we have seen an early barracks play with the Order of the Dragon to try and pressurize the gold, and it would make sense because you're going to kind of need a barracks anyway as the Order of the Dragon, so it's not like a wasted building, and it puts some pressure on gold, stops the knights popping out too easily. Instead though, Kiljardi opting for the double farms and opting for the Ark and Chapel. Interesting, like he's really going for the macro approach, which is kind of interesting. Like we don't see the French being played all that often. This is why it's kind of exciting, right? Because you got the French town centre, which produces faster, of course. 18 seconds rather than your usual 20. Or is it? I thought it was 17. Okay, apparently it's 18. Either way, the Order of the Dragon, they're villagers. They're gilded villagers. They obviously they're a little bit different. They gather resources 28% faster, and also build 20% faster as well. So 20% faster in terms of worker efficiency versus the extra quicker town centre. It's going to match up against each other quite nicely. Now the matchup is an interesting one, like it kind of gives you vibes of the HRE versus the French, but it's a rough one, and I think in many ways the Order, I wonder how they're going to do this, because going Castle Age is something they want to do, they want to pick up relics, but going up against the French, with how many units to get out early, it can be tricky to get hold of those relics, right? Especially considering, I mean ultimately, the bigger problem for me, for the Order, is that the lack of units. The units are so premium, they're so strong that you can't afford that many of them. And so there's 2 layers to think about that. First of all, is the number of units means that you can be in less places at once on the map, so there's less relics you can cover. But number 2 is that because they're expensive, it takes time to get them. So it's a hard one, I think, for them to secure the relics, and they don't exactly have like a superior timing on their Castle Age, so it can be pretty dicey. Could opt for a stable opening in the first instance to get some horsemen out. It's a curious one. We're seeing this a lot. Like, you might feel like, and it certainly would be quite natural to get a barracks, right, to counter out knights, but I feel like the Order, to be fair, with their units being built a little bit different, their horsemen are kind of like mini knights in a way. It's kind of, the Order of Dragon definitely mixes things up in Age of Empires 4. The Ark and Chapel, it's a nice building. Not quite as good as the HRE, of course, because you can't get prelates to garrison inside, but it does increase the village gather rate by 15% on top of the 28% they initially start off with. Definitely nice eco boost. Speaking of eco boost, Beasty does opt for a wheelbarrow opening with the mill. Typically that is the French. Still 10 sheep, by the way. That's actually a lot. And you can see Kiljardi's pretty much ripped through his food. And it doesn't seem like it's a big deal, but it is. Look at this. Farming transition is going to be needed. Because you can't really venture out on the map. That's the big thing about this. Going to protect the gold with an outpost. We have to go to berries and double scout opening for the French. It's been huge. Horseman. Gilded Horseman versus the Royal Knight. Backing away for now. Now, whilst it's not immediately relevant right now, what's great for the French is you can get chivalry, so help his knights to heal on up over time. Take some trades, get some trades of HP, in the heal on up. It's a really nice mechanic for the French. Kiljardi's woodline though, super exposed. Yeah, this is going to be dicey for the short term. It's going to be pretty tricky. Looks like Beasty's going to add in a second stable as well. Cavalry units versus cavalry units. It's going to be fun to watch as well because you'll see them go head to head, but also they might start flanking around to the economies to try to do some damage. Bear in mind, one little bit of detail, which I really love about Gilded Horsemen, is their movement speed. They've got 1.88 tiles per second versus 1.62. So if he feels confident about taking a fight, it is in the hands of Kiljardi to do some damage. But the knight's about to trickle on to the woodline once again. Villagers, Kiljardi, he's paying attention. And he's pumping it, Beasty. Getting a blacksmith as well, so it gets bloomery for free. Just increases that damage output. Now, I gotta say, with the knights on the field, it looks like Beasty's going to play with an extended feudal age. No surprises. I mean, that's what French do really well. So it's going to be down to whether Kiljardi thinks about castle age and when he thinks about it. You do it too early, and he could be in trouble. He's adding in the spearman now. Village garrison inside the outpost, understandably so. There's the first spearman. I don't think he can... I mean, to be fair, one spearman against 4 knights. I think the knights would win, but only just maybe. Villager just about survives there for Beasty. It's a big deal, because she's going to be working on the sheep now. Keep her safe and secure. The Beasty thinking about castle age. That's... Well, actually, to be fair, with that number of villagers and gold, you kind of need them for the double stable production. I mean, slowly will be thinking about castle age. There's the chivalry upgrade. So yeah, I love this play. I really do, because against the horsemen, you want to take trades off here if you can. Or might lose a knight though. Should lose a knight. Good pick off there by Kiljardi for sure. But you just have to back away from gold. This is great aggression. This is where things are strong for the Order of the Dragon, right? They don't have to be too defensive with the spearman play against knights. They can be aggressive if they want to. Trying to get value around the back, but 3 gilded spearmen, definitely more than enough to deal with that. Oh, gotta be careful. Not to lose the gilded horseman, ideally. Kiljardi go around the side. Oh, wait. He's baited them a little bit. He's got to ring around the rosy, forcing the villagers back away. Same to be said on the gold vein. Both players trying to keep their economies intact as much as possible and trying to idle their enemies. Although, oh, it does go down the gilded horseman. That's massive, by the way. So these units are so expensive that if you lose one, it's a big deal. That's for sure. These guys, 280 food, 200 gold. It's kind of crazy. All the knights trying to get a charge on in. He's got to be careful here, Kiljardi. Oh, charges comes on in, and that could be devastating if they land. Just about lands on the... Oh, he body blocks with the stronger horseman. Don't take that fight, Kiljardi. Yeah, he's going to wait for the spearman. But the spearman involved, that's a different game, but he needs to be careful not to take the fight. Tries to bait him in a little bit. Did get a bit of a hit on the Royal Knight, though. Get a couple of hits and it could be devastating. Kiljardi getting an outpost on the Archon position just to make sure it's nice, safe and secured. And yeah, definitely posturing towards a heavy feudal age here. Beasty. Double arch range, double stable. Loses another horseman here, Kiljardi. He's suffering some losses. It doesn't seem like a lot, but we've said how expensive the units are, so you lose a couple. It's definitely a big deal. But I love the advantage that Beasty is seeking out here, right? Really maximizing the use of chivalry. It's such a strong play. On the west side, Kiljardi trying to get value on the gold villagers, but he's going to lose more horsemen here. This is not good. The archers, yeah, they're getting value here, that's for sure. Oh no, Kiljardi. He's losing important units. Beasty, oh okay, he's just winning the micro wars. Now he will get one knight out of this, I think. He even got the charge out. The Beasty's so good at that. Did you guys see that? Like, so he's going to lose the knight anyway, but he managed to get the charge out of it. He's so good at this micro. He ekes out as much value as he possibly can. Absolute pleasure to watch. And this is what separates the top players from the rest. The ability to just extract all sorts of little bit of value. By getting the charge out before the knight dies, you know, it just shows you the attention to detail he has. Snaps out one gilded spearman for free. And he's going to heal on up as well. Make no mistake about it, there's two layers to this. There's the chivalry tech, and then there's Beasty's micro. Although this is not a fight Beasty can take. Yes, definitely has to back away there. But again, he's keeping his army active, and whatever he doesn't lose in terms of the knight numbers, he heals on up. And the archers could get caught a little bit here, though. So this is where it's kind of interesting, right? Because he won't want to commit with the knights if they're healing on up. But if he sends archers in, they'd obviously have a lesser movement speed, so he's got to keep the knights with them. So could potentially get caught, but he's going to go for rams and go for a big push here. We've not seen this in a long time. French ram rushing in the feudal age. We're seeing it now. Double stable, double archery production. By the way, one of the reasons why this is so strong, it all stems from the start of the game. Double scout, more sheep, forces the Order of the Dragon into farms. Spending the wood on that means less units, and so then Beasty takes better trades, better fights, more units. And it always just escalates from there. Now, does have emergency repairs. No, he doesn't actually. He's on cooldown. Oh no. He's going to lose yet another. He's going to lose a production building, so more resources going down the drain. That one ram getting huge value. Beasty being pressurized on the west side. Good bit of counter aid by Kiljardi. Not sure if he actually gets a villager out of that though. It's unfortunate. The thing is, he's got to find a way to deal with this. This is a big push coming on in. This is going to be dicey, I've got to say, because Beasty's pumping units. Being caught off guard for a little while. There's emergency repairs, but he's going to lose a stable if he doesn't get a village out to repair. No, that will go down. That's 2 production buildings. That's 300 wood. I mean, that ram has paid for itself already. And then some. Horseman diving on in. Again, will he get a villager? Doesn't still quite get a villager. It's more idle time is causing. Better than nothing, but ram goes down. That's a good start here for Kiljardi to push on out. He won't want to engage this though, Beasty. There's a decent number of spearmen there. Archer numbers looking good though for him, so he's trying to get as many of those spearmen down as he can before he takes the fight. He's taking the fight. I'm not so sure about this for Beasty. There's just too many gilded spearmen. Those knight numbers, I don't think he can manage this. I mean, I think the archers are doing a great job, and the horsemen will go down for Kiljardi, but it's a decent trade for Kiljardi overall. I think the knights will come out on top. To be fair, it comes down to if the knights stay alive on low health, because chivalry will heal them on up. Yeah, he just loses a bit too many there. Comes away with 4 knights in the end. Kiljardi does lose his whole army, but it does mean that the pressure will slow down a little bit. It was a good trade. I think Beasty would be happy with that trade in the end. So would Kiljardi. Need to get a second outpost, and they're going to get the emplacement as well. Yeah, it's important to get these in, actually. Definitely focusing on that goal position. Adding in a 3rd stable and a 3rd archery range. Okay, well, Beasty means business. Oh, knight numbers. Oh, he peels away. Ah, this is what he does best. Look at that. Peels away the weak knight. Goes to commit to build another ram. Kiljardi has got to be careful with his units now because the forces are starting to build up again. Don't forget, the French town centre has been working faster this whole time, so he scales well. Outposts have been fortified. It's definitely going to give him an opportunity to try and hold on a bit better. Knight in the north, just keeping an eye on the gold vein. There's a lot of resources, right? This is the thing, he's forcing kiljardi into a farming transition. But the good thing is that eventually, like, if this game goes for the next 10, I'd say the next 15 minutes, Beasty will eventually need a farming transition. And that gives a bit of opportunity for kiljardi to push on out. Trouble is, he has to survive that timing. And that's not guaranteed. Not with the rams here. Takes out the first outpost. Second outpost is fortified, so it's going to be a much harder task to do. But yeah, once Beasty does run out of the food sources, although to be fair, there's still a lot of time, a lot of resources to be gathered. That farming transition could buy kiljardi some time, but he's got to survive. And that's looking a bit more increasingly difficult with the number of rams popping out, although Beasty keeping that one, oh, unfortunately loses that one a little bit cheaply. Villagers garrison inside. He's starting to build up a good number of horsemen. I think, to be fair, full horsemen could do decently well here for kiljardi. Sprinkling in a couple of spearmen for the knights, but we'll see how this goes. Diving on the ram. Does he get it in the end? It doesn't quite. He's diving on here, Beasty. He wants to do damage. Emergency repairs comes out in the outpost. Oh, this is going to be dicey. He's fighting underneath the TC, though. I'm not sure that's ideal for Beasty. The knights tank up a little bit off that. Horsemen dive on in. The two rams is being out repaired for now, but once the emergency repairs goes down and cools down, this could be a good chance for Beasty to get a strong hold in this position. kiljardi finding it difficult to hold on. Bear in mind that economy behind all of this. Constantly scaling. Spearmen engage. Archers there for Beasty. Trying to focus on the spearmen. If the spearmen numbers go down, that allow the knights to do what they need to do. Ram gets taken down. The outpost, though, is on flames. Will the villagers come out to repair? Oh, the knight numbers, they're not looking good anymore. Spearmen getting too much value. And losing a lot here, Beasty. The pushback. The defensive hold should be okay here for kiljardi. Although a couple more knights added into the fight. There's not that many spearmen anymore for him. He's trying to focus as many of the archers as possible. Wait, the outpost needs to be repaired here by kiljardi. He's not sent anyone for it just yet. The horseman numbers, they're not looking good. Oh, this could be a good fight overall. Beasty, he's really thinning down the numbers. kiljardi retreating with 2 horsemen, but look at that. Down to 4 military. Beasty in a really good spot. He's going to repair on up a little bit, but he's floating a lot of wood. There's emergency repairs. Okay, he's waiting for that. We wanted it for free, of course. But the balance of the economy not looking too great here for kiljardi on the defensive. Just way too much wood. And I think that could be his undoing, actually. The macro behind this all. He's having to defend, but the macro is just a lot more on point here for Beasty. Could even think about going to the castle age soon, although he's got 0 villagers on food. I think he's just transitioning away a little bit. Yeah, he's going for stone, right? He wants to keep the French bonus, getting a keep around the stables and the archery ranges. You can see the base building here. We'll give them the bonus cost reduction of those units. Very powerful, of course. We're going to come up with the guild hall, which gives them a lot of potential if the game goes late. To be fair, kiljardi's had a really good hold at this stage. But he's on the defensive this whole time, and Beasty has been able to leverage the French target of getting their pocket economies. He's taken boar, he's taken deer camps. But he will need a food transition, a farm transition. There it is. There it starts. 20 minutes in the game, kind of expected at this time range. Bear in mind though, the guild hall is such a good landmark at the moment. Always toggle on to food at the initial stages. It really helps them get a really good Imperial Age timing. But it comes at a time where food is a problem, right? I love the timings on this, right? Beasty taking the free food on the map. Now getting to the castle stage, he's going to start to get the guild hall gathering food for him as well passively, and then he's going to get a bit of an injection for that when he needs it the most. But he's going to have a different angle of attack now on the west side. Wasn't able to break down on the gold area. Outpost was there, of course, and now he says, okay, well, we'll go for the west side. And there's that castle age for now for Beasty. The veterancy on the Royal Knight queued up. Now the trouble is for kiljardi is he's got no real signs of getting to the castle age himself. Like, he just can't afford that. He needs units, he needs it fast. Villagers garrison inside, but there's rams, there's 2 outposts, but the trouble is that the area that Beasty's attacking now, there's so many farms, villagers idled, and don't forget, every villager's idled. It's a massive proportion of the economy, but he's raiding down the south. This is huge. And he has 1 outpost, so a couple of villagers definitely will go down. That's a good pick-off of economy. Trying to focus on the ram. Only one ram remains. Now, emergency repairs has definitely been a big part of why kiljardi's been able to hold on. That only lasts for so long. He snipes another villager with the archers. Good pick off there by Beasty. Guildhall certainly on food. Takes out the outpost, and now this is definitely a good spot for Beasty to attack, right? Because look at the farms that are kept idled. Just eking out some more victories here and there. And I wonder whether Beasty is going to opt to try and get some of the relics as well. Look at he is as well. Yeah, that's perfect. Like the Order of the Dragon, that's hurting them a lot. They would love to be getting those relics, but he can't even get to the castle age, let alone get the relics. More rams back to pop forward, and going to make another dash at this. There's that keep. Going to give the extra discount by 20%. Not too shabby. Knights diving on in. Good numbers of archers there by Beasty. He's holding on for now, but this should be a good pushback by Kiljardi. He's got a good number of units, but he needs to kill this army quick time because he needs to... I mean, he has to, really, right? If he loses the army again, here, Kiljardi, it's going to be over. Because he needs Castle Age behind this at some point. Guild of Spearmen, though, they're doing great work against the Knights. Two of them go down really quickly. He does clean this up really massively. Kiljardi with a good standing army. He needs to get to that Castle Age, and he needs to put some pressure on. It's a good start, though. He's back in the game. Having said that, though, Beasty, if he gets more of the relics... Yeah, I mean, Kiljardi needs to get out there on the map. He needs to get there now. There's actually quite a few weak horsemen there. 3 of these horsemen are very low on HP. Not much of a standing army for Beasty at the moment. There's a bit of a concern, like he's needing that hard farming transition, and this is what we talked about earlier in the game, right? This is a window of opportunity here for Kiljardi to do some damage, but the trouble is, he's going to get 2 keeps, right? He's got so much stone in the bank, and if he gets another keep on the right side, protects the economy, Beasty should be fine, right? Because Kiljardi, whilst he's got units on the field, he doesn't have siege. He can't afford it. He needs Castle Age. Gonna add in even a second town centre. I mean, not only is that going to scale the economy, but it's also going to keep his economy safe. 2 knights diving on the west side. Mostly as a distraction, I would have thought. And finally, Kiljardi should be getting to the Castle Age. Adding another stable. It's going to be the Regulus Cathedral. I mean, it's a fair play, but he's lost out on a lot of relics already, most likely, by the time it goes up. Village numbers are looking decent here for Beasty, despite those villagers having to back away, and probably has lost a few. Might lose a couple more, actually, from the horsemen. I mean, I think he's okay with that, actually. Like, he's traded a lot of HP off these horsemen, and he's bought himself some time. And the second town centre, and the French town centre at that, means that he's should be able to catch up, of course. Kiljardi get to the Castle Age now, needs to get relics, though, to make it worth its while. Which ones can he get? Potentially this one on the east side. This one kind of favours Beasty a little bit. And he's already picked up 3 of the relics. So, yeah, this is looking dicey for Kiljardi, gotta say. Not being able to leverage the bonuses for the Order of the Dragon in terms of getting relics, but is ultimately coming down to how well Beasty's played this one out. Game not over by any stretch of the imagination, though, of course. We should start to see a bit more farming transition because of the wood income for Beasty. You can see them being placed down now. And then behind that, I think it's going to be full force on gold. Yeah, full force on gold on the 8,000 tile gold vein. And the reason for this is because eventually you can cash in the guild hall for the food. He's got the gold, and that will get him the Imperial Age. But now we see the Gilded Knights for the Order of the Dragon. That's a bit of a troublesome situation for the French, and maybe he needs to start thinking about getting arbitrary. Yeah, there it is. You can see the play here. Mass arbitrary is going to be the way for the French. I love to see how that works as well, especially in the late game with Gambesons. Like, it's going to be rough for the Order of the Dragon. Like, these Gilded Knights are super tanky, 400 HP, but, you know, with arbitrary mass coming out for the French, which is something they do really well, is the perfect counter unit. Gilded Horseman just chasing on down. Shouldn't get the kill here, I don't think. behind all this. The great thing for Kiljardi is farming position is up and running, but it feels like the window of opportunity of him doing damage is kind of slowly disappearing. The farming position just about finishing up here for Beasty. There's still a bit of a window because Beasty doesn't have a lot many military numbers, but he does have static defenses. Give it another 10-15 minutes, the military numbers will start to escalate again for Beasty. And it's going to get the right military as well with the arbitrary. It's picked up one relic, at least Kiljardi. Bringing that back home. Still one more up for grabs. He brought it a little bit closer. And should get it in the end, actually. So overall, I think 2 Regnitz Cathedral relics, it's not bad. All things considered. Considering how much pressure he's been under, it's not a bad work here by the Order of the Dragon by any means. He's even healing up his units. I love how he's doing this, Beasty. Slowly, methodically, and just, you know, eking out all the little bits of advantages he can get. Keeping an eye on the gold in the north, right? That's probably going to be the focus of attack for Beasty, I would have thought. Oh, wait. Brother, hello? Hello? Okay. Got a bit excited. We're heading to the stage again where it's getting a little bit quiet, but I think Beasty will love that, actually. Because he's got 2 town centers, they're scaling his economy. Kiljardi, he's got 2 options. One is to really pressurize, and one is to go to the Imperial Age himself. It looks like he's going to go for the pressurizing approach. Making a lot more units. Now, Gilded Crossbow is actually a really nice option for Kiljardi as well. The reason why I say that is because I think Gilded Crossbowmen, probably one of my most favourite units for the Order of the Dragon. Having said that, the fact that he went for the Archon Chapel rather than the Minework Palace means that he can't get Bodkin Bolts, and that's a really strong upgrade for the Order of the Dragon crossbow units. It gives them an additional damage on siege engines, and so with that upgrade, mass crossbows for the Order of the Dragon is incredibly powerful. Like, the main counters to crossbowmen generally are mangonels and horsemen, but with Bodkin Bolts, mangonels is not really an option. I mean, what we're talking about here is not really helpful, though, because he doesn't have that Minework Palace. So, yeah. It's not necessarily something he's going to commit to too heavily. Of course, he went for the eco approach more than anything. Has added in a couple of spearmen there. A couple of... Are they Landsknechte? I think they should be, right? Has he got... No, they just look crazy, those spearmen. Okay, well, there we go. He has added in a couple of Gilded Crossbowmen. Imperial Age comes in, though, for Beasty. He's going to dive on in. Good number of arbaletiers, but the horsemen should get good value against them if they can get on top of them. He's diving on in here, Kiljardi. This could be a big pick-off, but it's just garrisoning inside the Red Palace, which is what got him to the Imperial Age. Yeah, arbaletier in good numbers. They're going to hold on. And that's unfortunate for Kiljardi. He has to back away. He tried to put some pressure when the Imperial Age came in for Beasty, but doesn't have enough. I say that, though. He's diving in once again. Now, arbaletier numbers are starting to thin down, despite the defender's advantage. Not actually Beasty. He's actually being aggressive on the right side with his knights and horsemen. Should get some value on the villagers. But eventually, eventually the defender's advantage will help him. There's a bit of a tug of war, a bit of a push and pull, but eventually Beasty should hold on here. Although, again, maybe not. Maybe not. Around the right side. Looks like it's going to be a Palace of Swabia. Imperial Age coming in for the Order of the Dragon. That's their comeback mechanic. They need to survive this next push, though, coming in for Beasty most likely. And it should do, because it's got a good number of units. I think this is definitely a great play by the Order of the Dragon to get the Imperial Age now. He needs to kind of build up the villager count once again, catch up an economy. Of course, Beasty having that second town centre has a good window now. He's got a great economy. It's going to come down to, once again, the Order of the Dragon being defensive. He has to hold. He has to hold long enough for the Palace of Swabia to do its magic, work its magic. The concern is that whilst he does that, Beasty might attack the gold on the north. He's got his gold secure on the south. It's kind of a tricky situation for Kiljardi because he's got to protect his main economy, but he's also got to think about this gold, which is very exposed. One outpost, probably not going to cut it. How's it going, Dr. Jarman? So yeah, in terms of replay, as in the game's already been played, it's not a live game for sure, but I'm casting it live. As in the game's not live, but I'm casting live. Appreciate you, dude. Hope you're having a good day though. Welcome on in. So yeah, you may have seen it if you watched it live on Beasty's stream or something. Potentially. Yeah, this is what we talked about, right? So, going to the Palace of Swabi Imperial Age, he has to survive, but the trouble is he's being cut off of gold. And Beasty recognizing that he can't really do significant damage, like he can't dive the main base, that would be suicide, so he decides, okay, what can we do to do damage, and let's target gold, right? Because that's what he's going to need. Kiljardi needs gold. That's exactly where Beasty goes. Nice diving in the back, and well, those guys will go down. But it's buying time for Beasty, I guess. He's got a lot of food and gold in the bank. But he just needs garrison inside. Not enough spaces here though. Arbitrary is slowly moving in that position, but he's diving a little bit too close for comfort. He's going to lose a lot of... Oh god, okay, it was not worth it. It does not feel worth it there for Kiljardi. He needs siege. The trouble is, it takes time. He's trying to do, you know, he's getting the Imperial Age. He needs time to get a siege out. Trouble is, it doesn't feel like he's got time on his hands. Oh no, those units are going to be cornered in. If he goes line formation right now, there's no way out. He might not even need line formation. He's riding right on in. Oh god, there's Arbitrary picking off even the horsemen. Kiljardi trying to wall on up on the east side, but that's never really going to happen. Horseman numbers looking good. Is relying on the gold on the right side, 4,000. Makes a lot of sense. This gold is super exposed, but the trouble is, how does he move out to gold once again, Kiljardi? He needs to somehow mass up army to move on out. But it's looking tricky. Trying to repair on out. Doesn't have any emplacements here, by the way, so it's just buying time, really, more than anything. But what's he buying time for? The army can't get over there. Villagers, unfortunately, kind of struggle. Does have a couple of Landscanister that added into the mix, so if he does take a big melee mosh pit fight, Kiljardi would be in a good spot. He's trying to ramp out his production. But look at this, horseman diving on in. Elite horseman at that. Oh, he's trying to get a keeper there, and it probably will work for Beasty. That's huge. Bear in mind the guild hall is now on gold. He's got the food income he needed. He's got the farming transition, so now all that's needed is gold. Good number of archers. By the way, the archers, they fire so fast, so nice transition, but the trouble is he doesn't have the mobility, right? He's getting raided left, right, and centre. One thing to bear in mind, though, with the Palace of Swabia, what's really nice is that it's very difficult for the French to completely raid them to death, because they just make villages again, right? It's a huge deal for the I could say Ottomans, but for the Order of the Dragon. It means its survivability is going to be pretty big. But he does need to secure his base, needs to wall it up, because he's getting raided still. And so the raiding is not so much necessarily doing damage in terms of killing villagers, because he can remake them. The big thing is that it's forcing Kiljardi to stay at home. It allows Beasty to get control of the map, to get control of key resources like the Skull Vein, and he's going to mop it up quick time. There's 37 villagers going to be garrisoning that. That's absolutely massive. See, horseman on the other gold. Yeah, Kiljardi, he's starving on gold. He's got no gold income. 0 villagers on gold, and doesn't feel like he's going to get gold for quite some time. This is the thing. Getting map control, Beasty. It's the masterclass of map control. The large force on the north. Again, it doesn't feel like Kiljardi is going to make too much of an inroads there just yet. It's going to group up together. There's the siege now. Going to look to maybe get some bombards to take care of the keep. Horseman raiding in the south, and yeah, this is a good pincer movement by Beasty for sure. He's raiding everywhere. And whilst Kiljardi can replace the villagers, it costs food. More importantly, his army has to stay at home to defend. Beasty just losing out a little bit there. Gilded archers, god, they look good. And the rate of fire on these guys, 1. Absolute nuts. Of course, they are premium unit. Expensive, so it's understandable. You get your bang for your buck. And the crazy thing behind all this, by the way, is Beasty, 143 villagers. Means he's building up a huge bank of resources. We see this time and time again, by the way. 30 minutes into the clock, it does definitely turn into a bit of a macro game, right? Because what will happen, Beasty will trade army, but he's got a greater macro behind this, so he can keep replacing his army. There'll come a time where the bank of resources for Kiljardi just won't be there. And we can tell already gold is going to be a difficulty for him. He's only got 2 relics, that's the only gold income he's got, whereas Beasty, he's mining gold heavily off the map. 66 villages on gold. But don't forget, he's also got the guild hall. He's got 2,700 gold in the bank from that. It's actually kind of crazy. The resources pool is just so good for Beasty. It feels like it's going to take a miracle here for the Order, but if they can take some good fights, maybe that's one way back into the game. It's definitely going to be difficult. So Joker 8, as in, it's a premium unit generally. Like, it's not a premium. The Archer's not a premium unit for the Order of Dragon as such as a civilization, but you know the Guild Archer is just so strong that every unit for the Order of the Dragon is a premium unit compared to other civs. So I meant it in that way. Keep going up in the south. Again, starving the gold. But it's such a great unit with the attack speed, and I mean the keep should go up, but not without casualties. Not that Beasty minds too much because it's got a large villager boom anyway. So the Gilded Archers, they're actually pushing the villagers away pretty well. I mean, he doesn't really mind too much, Beasty, I guess. He's just going to keep on building. The main thing, he's got control of the gold. And whilst Kiljardi get his keep up, you know, Beasty doesn't need to mine the gold, really. It's just more about denying his enemies access to it. Speaking of which, Kiljardi just about to make a movement for the gold in the north. Gets the bombard, takes the keep down, and should get some villagers out there hopefully soon, but mass movement of villagers, 36 of them. He backed away with Beasty. Good thing he didn't lose those, actually. Could have been devastating if he did. Really up for now. Beasty, all he needs to do is contest the goals. Doesn't have to necessarily mine it. Although mining gold would be pretty helpful. Should have a decent bank of it in the guild hall now. Let's take a look at this. Yeah, 3,700. Not that he needs it just yet. Obliterator diving in a little bit. Kiljardi, a lot of his economy is idle. 32 villages out of 83. That's massive. So at this point, it's going to be a lot about not necessarily killing villagers for Beasty. It's going to be about idling the economy. If he idles the Order of the Dragon, it's going to be devastating because he's not going to be able to reproduce these army. Look at that. 190 food. Kiljardi, he's on the back ropes. This is looking dicey. Got 240 food per minute. A lot of that farming economy completely idled. Villagers might come out now, but it feels like damage is done. Look at the bank of resources compared to the two. Beasty does this so well. Kiljardi trying to hold on as much as he can. Does have a large army. So maybe there's a way he pushes back, but not only is he going to have to push back, he's going to have to recover his economy. It's not over just yet, though. Cannon replacements in the outpost, slowly working on the keep. Now we see the elite Royal Knight, though, for the French. The flagship unit for the French riding on in. 2 Royal Cannons as well. And that's army. That's an army that's going to be difficult to deal with. Hand Cannoneers added in. This is a really premium unit army composition for Beasty. All cannons left a bit unguarded, though. Hand Cannoneers going to come back to it. Again, it's got some good value. Managed to get through the choke point, so the cannons survive for now. Gilded Archers, to be fair, though, going to rip apart those Hand Cannoneers. The Knights coming around for the east side, though. Going to stomp out the bombard. That's going to be massive. Means the keep will stay alive for Beasty just about. Good sniping there. The Knight's going to get some good raiding damage. Again, forcing the Order of the Dragon back home. Forcing the army on the left side as well. He's just being raided left, right and centre. A Knight peeling away on the west side farms. 19 villages idled. That's about to increase. This is kind of crazy with very limited army. Beasty, I've got to say, he's only got 46 army military units. That's not a lot. But the way he's using it is huge. Oh, keep drop on the west side. I think Kiljardi can't stop that. I don't think he can stop that. And if he can't, that farming economy going to be idled. That is huge. There's one thing having villagers. There's another thing having villages that can work. Without food, there's no way back for the Order. Yeah, that keep will go up. And that's going to smash anything that comes in to try and challenge it anyway. They keep going up with outposts as well. The forward positions are secured by Beasty. He's raiding in the south. Raiding in the east. Oh no, that wood line decimated. About to be decimated. Or maybe not. Keep the outpost was okay for now. It does go down, but the Knights might now get free reign. Yeah, Kiljardi definitely on the back ropes. He does have a good population still, surprisingly enough, by the way. Trouble is, half of it's idled. Gets another keep of his own. But again, it's not so much about stopping Beasty mining anything here. He can't mine freely on the food and the farms that have been established, and he, to be fair, does have enough wood to maybe get another farming transition. And if you can take care of this with the bombard, that's definitely one way forward. But it's being raided in the southeast as well as we speak. And there it is. Kiljardi, he's had enough. He's tapped out. There's maybe a window they could take this keep down, but he recognizes his economy's been idle for way too long. What a cracking game of Age of Empires 4, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it on YouTube. If you did, make sure you give the video a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss another casted game. Take care, and see you next time.